Just give me a reason to keep my heart beating. Don't worry, it's safe right here in my arms. As the world falls apart around us, all we can do is hold on, hold on.
What is up, guys? DT Ninja here to give you guys my RuroKen Hokkaido Arc Chapter 21 discussion. Yes, guys, if you haven't watched my review, definitely check it out. This is going to be the discussion questions. I split the two in this chapter because there's a lot of things I wanted to talk about. So these are the discussion questions. There's not a whole lot, but there is, some very interesting things we're going to talk about. So first things first. Saito explains that the Kinkaku Heki have several advantages over them. And we're talking about over Saito and his group, right? What are some examples of military logistics, intelligence, and machine advancements that he refers to? He says they're extraordinary, but what are some examples? So some examples would be Shokun. Shokun is the main leader of the Kinkaku Heki. She mentions that the Jupongatana and the Shinsengumi are no match for the Conqueror, the Conqueror Kanzato, which is in chapter 15. I will have to share that with you when I'm talking about. Kanzato is one of the members of Kinkaku Heki. So Kanzato is this character right here. She mentions that they are no match for his strength. So Kanzato is one of the main leaders, the main commanders of Kinkaku Heki. So that is one example of intelligence. She has information on Shinsengumi as well as Jupongatana. So that gives them an edge, right? They also, when we talk about intelligence, they're able to relay information underground using Doi. Okay, Doi is that character that is able to tunnel underground, and we've seen him several times. He's been relaying intelligence to the Yami Nobu. I think that was in chapter 10. Let me double check on that. Chapter 10 when, I think that was right here. Yeah, you see him right there. He's right there talking to the old woman from the Yami Nobu, relaying information, and they also make a pact together. So we can see how they're able to use information, relay intelligence. It's very useful, right? So Doi is definitely a very useful character on their side. So very interesting stuff. Okay. What's another thing? Military advancement. We've seen like large swords from Gongu. I showed it to you in the first video in my review. Gongu has the large iron blade that cut off the heads of the police officers in chapter 2. So that is one. Another advancement would be the plate springs. Okay, the plate springs I also mentioned. I did a whole video on that where Byakuya is actually able to use his wrist in a way that is, inhuman. It's just, it gives him an increase in power, defensive ability. He's able to catch bullets. He's able to block a sword, catch a sword. I mean, there's just so much. He's able to smash the ground, without really hurting his arm. So there's a lot of military advancements, use of machines. These are some things that Saito talks about and that, Kinkaku Heki are extraordinary. He also mentions that their turmoil, this turmoil will not start unless they have the numbers to back up the years in which the Kamakura samurai once lived. So we're talking about multiple masses of people able to join their cause. He says they're not going to be able to be successful. Do you agree? Do you agree with Saito that if they don't have a huge support, that their plans are going to fail? I totally agree, because if you think about history, okay, the Bakamatsu, right? You guys know Matthew Perry came with the black ships. It caused massive panic throughout Japan. You had, factions joining with the westernization. We had the whole, the whole era was a change because, before it was all about Japan isolation, and then suddenly they want to westernize, become more like the West, and then you had Choshu and, Satsuma becoming the imperialist army against the shogunate, right? So definitely they had a lot of support to overthrow the shogunate, and that, became the Meiji Revolution. So there is a lot of support there. You would have to think they have a lot. And that is the whole point of the combat field experiments. That's why they have to stop it, because if they don't, you're going to get regular citizens involved in this whole thing, and they don't really understand the whole concept of Kenkaku Heki. They're just joining because, for example, they have the prisoners. They're just setting them free to do whatever or join their cause, And of course, prisoners are going to be very, more susceptible to actually join their cause because they're grateful to them. So anyways, they have to stop the combat field experiments in order to do so. But I think they do. They need a massive support. So they have to stop the combat field experiments, though, in order to stop this plan. That is the main goal right now for Saito. Okay, the next thing. Yutaro appears to still have great kenjutsu skill. And when I talk about skill, okay, this is not an actual kenjutsu sword. This is not a sword, but it's something similar to one. So basically, I told you in the review, Yaiko attempts to do a Ryutsui-sen, which is, you're up in the air, you go straight down, and, usually you hit them in the back of the head. Well, Yutaro turns around and catches the blade. Now, he doesn't catch it with his hands, right? He only has the use of one good hand, but he has the suitcase, and he's able to block it with ease. So it shows that he hasn't, possibly given up swordsmanship. He retained what he learned, and he still has that power. And what's great about it, like I said, it's kind of foreshadowing for him being trained by Yaiko in the one-hand sword techniques of the Kamiokashin style. So my question here is, if he learns the Kamiokashin style one-hand sword techniques from Yaiko, can he surpass Yaiko, his rival? Can he surpass him? Because I remember there's part where Yutaro actually leaves for Germany, right? And when he comes back, before he goes, he says that, I'm gonna improve my swordsmanship, and I'll beat you with one hand. So it's very interesting if that is actually possible, that he could actually surpass Yaiko. I think it's possible. He learns rather quickly, and we can see even after giving up swordsmanship, he still has great skills. So I like the whole dynamic between Yaiko, Yutaro, and Tsubame. So my next question is, will Yutaro actually be living at the dojo now that he's going to be trained by Yaiko? Possibly. I think that he might, stop by and see Tsubame. Also, just piss Yaiko off. He's his rival, but also kind of show him up. If what if Yaiko decides to join the tournament with Yutaro? That would be very interesting. So I like that whole dynamic and everything. I just hope that, Watsuki actually shows more of that, because that was great. I really like seeing that. Next question. What countries did Sano travel to, and what techniques did he learn throughout? So we know that Sano did a 5-year tour around the world. He went around the world traveling different countries. What countries did he visit? So in the special chapter of, Cherry Blossoms in Springtime, we actually learn a couple things. We first learned that Saito is in Hokkaido. That was the first mention of Hokkaido. But we also learn that Sano is traveling around the world, right? We all knew that, but now we learn he was in Mongolia at that time. We see him on a horse. So that was interesting. And then he mentioned that I'm going to go to Arabia, I'm going to go to Europe, and I'm going to go to America. So those are some of the places he's going to visit. So now that we know what countries and places he was going to go to, like Europe, probably, I don't know, France, London, maybe, some other European countries. But anyways, also America, Mongolia, some very interesting places. So what did he learn while he was at those places? So I kind of, thought about the different countries and what possibly he could have learned. So first things first, America. Okay, we know that Sano's defense is rather weak. He always wants to be on the offensive, and we saw Saito kind of teasing him, making fun of him. He's useless if he doesn't have any defense. So it would be interesting, very interesting, if he actually improved his defense and he's able to use, in battle, like for his, for his fighting, improved. That would also impress Saito also. So very interesting stuff. I think that he might have improved his defense abilities. So I don't know exactly how or what, but maybe his defense actually improved. Okay, the next one, Saudi Arabia, or just Arabia itself. I looked it up and there's a lot of things, but one thing came to mind, and that's falconry. Okay, falconry is very traditional in Arabia. Falconry is about hunting, right? Hunting, also tracking enemies. So maybe he picked up some abilities like in able to track an enemy and how to understand the enemy better. So maybe that is something that he picked up while in Arabia. Okay, the next one, Mongolia. Okay, Mongolia, maybe we see him on the horse, right? We see him on the horse. So obviously he learned how to ride a horse. Maybe, Mongolia is very famous for the military, their tactics, strategy. Maybe he learned things about strategic battles. Maybe he even learned some archery, because Mongolia is very famous for archery. So that would be very interesting if he's able to use more than just his zambato, which he kind of gave up a while ago. But anyways, it would be very interesting if he's able to use another weapon, as we've seen him able to ride a horse. So that's Mongolia. The other country would be Europe. So maybe in Europe, he also not only improved his defense, but his offense. So maybe he, took some boxing courses or just practiced with a boxer, and, boxing would be, kind of more in that realm in Europe. So maybe he, kind of developed a different style of fighting as well, not just, brawling. Maybe he's got, like I said, defense, improved offense. So I can't wait to see what exactly techniques, what strength he's attained throughout his journey. So anyways, those are just some ideas that I just, I looked up a couple of them just because I wanted to know, like the falconry from Arabia. But from Mongolia, I took a class in college, so I know a lot about Mongol history. So that would be very interesting, strategy and archery, as well as horseback riding. So those are just some things that I noticed, and also just some things that I wanted to further talk about. Okay, the next thing, did Kenji try to kill his father? Did he try to kill him? I don't know if he was trying to kill him, but he was definitely trying to get at him, just poke fun at him, because you definitely can see this kid is not trying to help him. If he was trying to help him, he definitely would have put it on his forehead. I think maybe he was trying to help him, but at the same time, he didn't do anything after it was covered over his head, and obviously, it was a very humorous situation, so it was very, like I said, the kid's rather savage. He's got this really big smile on his face. He's just, and Ashitaro's over there laughing his ass off. So I really feel that Kenji was trying to get at his father, because I'm going to say this, but Kenji does not really like his father, because he gets attention from, his mom. So that's the main reason why he's jealous of his father. So, but anyways, that's what I think. It's pretty funny. Okay, and also it was a joke. It was a joke to lighten the mood of a serious situation where Kenshin could be dying or in a life-threatening situation. So, Anyways. Okay, the last question. Which front do you think the Yaminobu will be at? Because like I pointed out earlier, Doi made a pact with the old woman of the Yaminobu that they will help with these, Kinkaku Heki's combat field experiments. Which front do you think they're going to be at? Yaminobu. They know the Batosai, right? So it's possible they're at Otaru and they're waiting for him. So we might get that dynamic. They could also be at Sapporo. So it's very hard to determine where they are, but it would be interesting if they are at Otaru because, Otaru is on the coast of Japan. So it's near the Sea of Japan. There's a lot of things in Otaru, a lot of resources in Otaru. I think they might be in Otaru. The last thing in Otaru, another mysterious dark figure awaits Kenshin and Sano, and that could be Kanryu Takeda, which would also be interesting because we know he was an arms dealer in Tokyo when they faced the Oniwaban group and Aoshi Shinomori. So it would be interesting if his character also gets reintroduced and it just shows how he's been, dealing in arms and military and with the enemy. So I could definitely see that being happen. That could probably be the case, but it might not be. It might be a new person. It might be a new enemy. So we'll just have to wait and see. And last but not least, when is Megumi going to show up? When is she going to show up? I think she's going to show up when Sano and Kenshin are in Otaru. She's going to show up and she's going to meet Kaoru and, her son again, but they're going to be gone. So the whole reunion is not going to happen until after the battle and they come back home. But that's my feeling. Megumi is going to show up, but it's going to be, away from Sano, which is kind of sad, but we're going to get that reunion eventually. Hopefully. Yeah. So anyways, Megumi and Sano are going to have a reunion eventually. Also, Hiko and Aoshi and Misao, when are they going to show up? Because, you got a lot of... And Enishi as well. So you got a lot of things happening in this arc that, will have to progress and we'll get more reunions as they come. And, there are a lot of things with the Kinkaku Heki, and they are very strong, so they need that support. But anyways, it was a great chapter, a great informative chapter. It was very hilarious. It was lighthearted. It was serious. It just had a great balance. That is one thing I noticed about Kenshin. It has an amazing balance of lightheartedness and serious moments, and they combine together to really mesh well with the story, and it's all connected. That's what I love about Kenshin. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my discussion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. A big shout out again to ChrisJP20 for letting me use his color scans. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.